Hi, I'm Patricia Stuart. Welcome back to Patricia Stuart Originals. Now I know I've been gone for a minute, but I needed to take a break. Okay, today I'm still working with the gel plate, and it's my 8x10 gel plate. And sometimes I do what we call grid art journaling, and where I have a sketchbook, mixed media book, and I, section it off with washi tape, and I make like what you would call miniature paintings of such. And it's a good warm-up exercise before I get into doing some other more serious art. And sometimes I just want to warm up and play around a bit. Okay, so today I'm going to just show one way of me getting a background design on the section with a gel plate. And I'm using my 8x10 gel plate. I'm going to be using some Liquitex basic acrylic paints. And I'm just going to play around with this to create a background. And since I'm doing the grid art journaling, I want to mix my paint because I'm not going to do this in layers. I just want to pull one background, colorful black background, nothing in particular. And when I finish, I'm going to lay this gel plate right over the grid I've made here. And my excess, I always roll over into a sketchbook that I have. I'm able to create even some nice artistic designs with my leftover paint. I don't like to waste paint. So okay, I'm gonna put it as far up as I could. I didn't want to use my other gel plate. That was too big. I've recently purchased Elizabeth St. Hilaire's 9x12 gel plate, which is great if you have 9x12 paper. This way you don't have to cut off those edges. Okay. And so here's the design that we get. A quick, easy design. I will load up some more paint on this. Use a little Titan buff. Yellow. Little lime green. And it's okay if the colors overlap. I'm just trying to create a colorful background. No specific design. Now this also could be done if you had a stencil in mind that you wanted to use. That would work as well. It's often fun to just mix my colors like this and not really know what it will come out to look like. It's just a colorful background. I want to make sure that I get everything that's white to have some kind of color. Okay. On top of the blue, since I have some more on this plate. And now with the rest of this, I embellish with markers, paint pens, fine markers, and things of that nature. So here's a simple background. I think I will see if I can go in just a little bit of orange here to balance out all the green. You can do whatever you want creative wise. With your colors. It will all come together with the mark making, and you can also do a mixed media piece where you have other prints that you've done and you want to cut in pieces and add that to embellish to your background. Okay. So I'm satisfied with a blend of these colors that you can see through here. So when I want a quick background where I don't want to sit and put the paint on individual areas of paint, I just mix it on the gel plate and create a quick background. And the next thing I will do now, give it a minute to just dry a bit and come back and create some design. Okay, it's dry. We're back. And I'm going to put some background, some designs on top of the background. I'm going to use this stencil and I'm going to use this netting, and two of the boxes will have similar stencil, and I'm going to be using a makeup sponge, which I love to use these, and I'm going to use something called Acrylic Gouache, and this one is by Holbein Acrylic Gouache. It's water soluble. You can add water to it like watercolor. You could thin it down, or you can use it in its tube form. And I like to use it in stencils, just in its tube form. Okay, so I'm going to start with a little red. I want something vibrant. And usually what I do is I just squeeze it right onto the sponge. And as I'm holding my stencil in place, and I try not to put too much on the sponge so that it doesn't smear or end up not being a clean print. Okay. And it's okay that I have to put more on, but I rather have a clean I like the versatility of the acrylic gouache. As I said, you can water it down if you want to use it like watercolor paints, or you can use it full strength. And I always like using it full strength. Okay, and so that's one square. I will do another one here, alternated since I just have 4, but I'm going to use a different color gouache. And the fun thing with these sponges is the fact that I can just cut off the tip with the paint that I'm finished using and continue to use the sponge without wasting it. Okay, so we'll go with let's see. I'll go with a little, well, the background is greenish, so I'll go in with some purple. Okay, I didn't put enough. Like to dab it around first rather than go full force in the beginning, so I don't put too much. And when you're doing your stenciling with the sponge, you can decide on how strong you want it to be. You may want a more faint design. You may want it stronger. It's up to you. And the fun thing is to also layer these designs. I think I just got a glob of paint too much in one area. Let's see what happens with that. You can always straddle these designs and using the same design create a nice variation with it. Okay, so I got a little messy with the purple. All right, and so now I want to use the other one that I have here on the other 2 blocks that I have. And so maybe I will have to use some green. On one of these. I don't want to put another similar color like orange next to the red or blue at the top. And I'll just put these fine circles. Okay, put a little bit more on here. choose another color for this bottom area. Again, I will cut off the color green. All right. I think my only choice of colors that won't clash will be white, titanium white. And this is another quick, easy way to put on your backgrounds if you and designs. Sometimes I'm not in the mood for a project or type of warm-up art to take me too long to do. I just want to get it done and be simple about it. And this is one we can do that way, which is pretty cool. Okay, so now that we have the design on, again, these designs can be layered, or you can take out your paint pens and markers and do some other types of embellishments on them if you so desire. I think I may want to layer. This is dry, and so I'm going to straddle this by putting it in a slightly different position. And I'm going to go in on top of the red with some yellow. And I'm going to use the same sponge that had the white. And let's see how that looks. I usually always do these things off the top of my head, and it's always interesting to see the design that comes from it. A little bit more yellow. I try not to think much when I'm using a gel plate. Now that's a nice effect there with the red underneath. You perhaps want your stronger color that you want to show through to be at the bottom layer. And I'm going to do the same with the one in purple. And let's see. What would be the best color to lay on top of that? Well, it's purple, so let me try now the orange. And because I had yellow and white on this, it's going to mix well with the orange. I can continue to use the same sponge. There are times when I do my own design by hand and I painstakingly create something without using a stencil, but then there are times when I like to use the stencil. And this gives a nice image as well. Will that be the same effect with these polka dot type circles? Good question. I'm not sure. So let's try and see. Now, what would be the best color on top of this one? I think now I can try a little blue. And I may want to mix this blue with a little white so that it's not as potent, so it wouldn't dominate on the page. So I don't know if any of you are into grid art journaling, but certainly it's fun to try your hands at. Just as a warm-up or something different to do. If you're feeling like you have a block, or you're feeling like you don't have any creative juices that's flowing, grid art journaling, or any form of art journaling, but this grid art can be quite nice. It helps to get ideas flowing, and so that's pretty neat. And now to balance this, I think I will use a little white on top of the green. Since we have white in this corner, I'll just kind of balance it with some white. And that definitely means using another sponge to do that. And so with these circles, I don't have to worry about getting all of them, because I want to let some of the green show through, so I don't have to be but concerned about getting all of them. So lightening it up a bit. Okay, and so we have our 4 squares done and ready for some embellishment. I'm going to give that a moment to dry a bit and come back. Okay, so we're back, and I decided to do a little embellishing. I put some leaves on these, and just with my Posca pen put a white dot in the center of the flowers. And just an example of grid art and one way of doing it. I also used my Micron pen to give it a frame around before I take the tape off. Sometimes I leave it plain without framing it because the paint usually, if I use paint, it kind of clogs the tip of my Micron pen. But my favorite part is removing the tape, if I can get it from pulling up the paper. Sometimes you have to be a little patient and removing the tape. And I use the washi tape. You know, some people take a square, measure it off, trace around their square for the size grid that they want. I just eyeball it and put the washi tape down on it. For me, it's easier than me cutting out squares, making different sizes. That's pretty easy too. There's nothing hard about it, but I just use the washi tape. And so you see, when you remove it, you get this nice effect of your art. And so this is, if you're, one way of doing it, using your gel plate to create a colorful background, and then using stencils and paint, or whatever you want to use to create some type of design. Or you can freehand draw it if you are able. Okay, so this is pretty much what it looks like, right? It's a nice idea. In this mixed media book, since I've been working on, I've, treat them as little miniature paintings. And so I've been able to do smaller grid ones or larger with markers, with paint. This is with gouache, where I tape it in different angles. I love to use gouache, painting it on. It has a nice soft effect. There's so many different ways that you can do it. This one was mixed media, where I did my background, but I also cut up other gel prints that I had to embellish it with. So there's so many different ways that this can be done. But this is just what I use as a warm-up. This is one of my favorite ones, with other gel prints on top of the background that I did. And it's a nice exercise to do. It can prepare you for, get those creative juices flowing if they're not. Some days, if I don't have time to really spend, this is by far certainly a nice way for me to get some art in the day. I like to doodle, so I even just do doodling. But it helps me to get some art in for the day. It's something that I really love to do. This is with a stencil. If I'm on a plane, I'm going somewhere where I'll be for a while, this is something great to occupy. Another mixed media with gel prints that I've used. And so the creativity with the grid art is ongoing. It's however you want to approach it. Sometimes I use stencils, sometimes it's just freehand doodling. It's, whatever I'm in the mood for that day. So maybe you want to try your hand at, grid art. It's something that is a lot of fun. You may find it interesting, and you can definitely use the gel plate to do it. Thanks again for joining me today. Keep doing art. Until next time.